You know, the pains and pangs associated with the removal of subsidy on petrol were going to have crushing effects on the citizens from state to state. And what used to mitigate these drawbacks vary from state to state too. In Yobe State, for instance, that's in northeast Nigeria, the government has commenced a distribution of palliatives aimed at alleviating the pains of petrol subsidy removal. And so in this Journalist Hangout weekend special, Babajide Kolade-Otitoju takes a look at the development. Let's go. Let's go.
A palliative is an action intended to make the effects of a problem less severe. Some grammarians describe it simply as supportive care. On the 29th of May 2023, during his inauguration as the 16th Nigerian president, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu declared an end to petroleum subsidy.
No provision is there for fuel subsidy. The fuel subsidy is gone.
Many economists and financial analysts welcome the idea of petroleum subsidy removal as a necessary measure to address Nigeria's descent to insolvency. But first steps should have been taken to address the pains certain to come with the subsidy removal. On the 17th of August 2023, President Tinubu announced the decision to disburse 5 billion naira to each of the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory to enable them provide palliative support, especially to the most vulnerable Nigerians.
This funding has to be shared with a formula as follows. 52% of this money is given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installment basis within a period of 2 years, 20 months to the CBN by the states and the local government areas in Nigeria.
Before the federal government took that bold step, Yobe State had moved quickly to ease the pains of the northeastern state's most vulnerable population. Easing the people's pains is a cardinal objective of the Mai Mala Bune administration for a state that battled Boko Haram insurgency for more than a decade. Governor Bune found it expedient to create the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management.
We keep providing to our vulnerable ones, especially from 2019 when I came on board, and particularly when the COVID set in. We started distributing palliative to the vulnerable people of the society, and that has actually helped us in ensuring that the SEMA is living to its responsibilities. Whenever we have problem anywhere, be it climate or any type of problem, SEMA is always there to ensure that they provide palliative to the people. And that is why when this subsidy was removed, we made it a routine to ensure that every community in Yobe is reached.
The new Yobe State Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Disaster Management has the mandate to coordinate and facilitate humanitarian response, rehabilitation, rebuilding, and reconstruction. The ministry is headed by Dr. Mero Hamed Hamshi, MFR. She told me her ministry is collaborating with development partners to ease the people's pains. According to her, the Red Cross is helping with crop production, livestock production, among others.
A lot of things has already been done. We've already got our household assessment. We have the data. The state government procured some palliative, a whole package for each of the household in all the local government areas. And also livelihood materials were also being given, like water pump, seeds, chemicals to help in just small vegetable garden production, sewing machines with some palliative that include food and non-food items. The non-food items include blankets, mattresses, mosquito net, this kind of thing, particularly to those that were affected by flood.
Some parts of Yobe State, like Damaturu, Fune, and the Cusco local governments, were affected by flooding, with houses submerged and farmers losing their farmlands. But the ministry, assisted by the Northeast Development Commission (NEDC), has been providing palliatives in form of food and non-food items, like blankets and mosquito nets.
The areas affected were in Damaturu local government area, Fune local government area, Nangere, Jakusko, part of Karasua, and part of Gujuba. They were affected. Farmers lost their farmlands, and not only their farmlands, some even their livestock, because those farmers that were around the river banks normally rear the small ruminant livestock. So it's carried away almost most of those livestock. They provide livelihood materials in terms of food, engaging the people in crop production, both rain-fed and irrigated crop production. They provide the seeds in collaboration with the National Seed Service, with the Ministry of Agriculture, to ensure that those people are engaged, not only giving them the palliative, but let them produce it themselves. Like in areas of, like there are other Catholic relief organizations and all this, they provide water for livestock. So we find the areas where they need those things and we collaborate, we work with them.
The Commissioner is grateful to the Victim Support Fund for the rehabilitation of schools like GSS Bularafa in Gulani local government, GGSS Buniyadi in Gujiba local government, and GSS Gadaka in Fika local government. The ministry also acknowledges the contribution of UNICEF in promoting girl child education, including the provision of books and other required items.
We also work with UNICEF. They assist the children, particularly in areas of the girl child education, encouraging the girls to go back to school, to ensure that they don't drop out of school before completing their studies. And UNICEF provides provide those children with the books, other small things that is required. And of course, there are some hidden charges that the parents cannot afford. So UNICEF assists in that direction.
After Borno State, Yobe State is the most ravaged by Boko Haram insurgency. This led to the displacement of so many people and the overstretching of infrastructure in host communities. Dr. Amshi's goal is to see that displaced persons are resettled in their ancestral lands and pick up the pieces of their lives.
First legacy that I pray to leave behind is to see that those that are settled away from their communities, settled in other host communities, to go back to their own community. Because there is relative peace there, like the Malamondonari village around Boneri area. Most of those people are now here in Damaturu, in host communities, and the host communities are overstretched. Even the facilities there, is so limited for them.
Yobe State Emergency Management Agency is the body mandated to provide relief to distressed people.
Good palliatives.
Dr. Goje Mohammed is his executive secretary. He told me how they have provided support to more than 180,000 of the most vulnerable people, including returning internally displaced persons, with the distribution of relief materials being the product of town hall meetings in communities to ensure transparency.
We are one of the first few states that successfully distributed our palliative, and there was no any vandalization of warehouses. So when these challenges came, we are prepared. What we do is to ensure that we review our register and we do a bottom-up approach. First, we do a community engagement meeting with the community members. We call all community stakeholders, including opposition political parties, security, vigilantes, traditional rulers, and religious leaders. We sit down at a town hall meeting. We tell them, this is the palliative we have for your community. We have 5,000 bags for your community. How do you want us to select the beneficiaries? In some cases, we distribute it across community. In some cases, we go house to house. But most importantly, we include every stakeholder, including opposition political parties, in the identification of beneficiaries.
13,000 students have been reached through scholarship stipends, as well as food baskets, including 10-kilogram bags of rice as palliatives, just as victims of flooding have been reached and relocated. In achieving this, he is grateful to non-governmental organizations and donor agencies for their support.
When we received the NIMET prediction, we came prepared and started relocating communities. It came with high cost, but we have relocated a lot of communities. When the water came in, it didn't affect them. But of course, there are consequences. The consequences, you relocate them, they are used to using their farmlands to produce their crops, and now they have to go to a new place, a lot of conflict among the host and the settlers. So the numbers of needs across those communities has increased. What we did was we prioritized them in the palliative distribution of subsidy removal, and we also prioritized them in our partners support through our INGOs and UN agencies that support them in that community.
Even in distant border communities, palliative support have reached the people. This is Port Obasanjo in Tulo, Yusufari local government area of Yobe State, located at the Niger Republic border.
Humanitarian work.
Dr. Goje Mohammed praised Governor May Malabuni for being such a good listener and for providing an enabling environment for SEMA in Yobe State to execute its mandate successfully.
The support and the enabling environment I received from His Excellency has resulted to almost 90% of my success. This is because emergency response does not wait. And His Excellency has already given us a blanket approval to respond within 24 hours for any emergency.
Dr. Goje, who recently returned from Japan, where he studied Japan's recovery from the twin bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, believes that at all times, the welfare of the people of Yobe State must come first.
Okay, welcome back. Tunde, quickly, we'll get to it. But pictures don't tell lies. Yobe is telling you and I that making palliatives work is no rocket science.
At all, especially if the governors are very committed to the welfare of the people. If the governance is in the center of the people. But most of our governors, I have my reservations about the way they have gone about distributing palliative. This is a clear example of a government that is in the heart of the people.
Jide?
Yes, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know that some good things were happening in Yobe until I went there. And what I discovered really impressed me. You cannot tell the whole story even in a 10-hour documentary. You just have to summarize what you've seen. Look, the people are being reached.
So it goes beyond PR.
Making thoughts,
beyond
getting the people.
I do not believe in sitting here and somebody will send me a videotape. I have to go there myself. So these things are filmed by myself, you know. So you don't, I want to see you do it. I want to see evidence by myself. Evidence that I can defend.
Yeah.
And that is what I saw. the commitment of SEMA, the commitment of the government, of the governor, is tremendous. And it reminds me of what Zulum is doing in
Journalists State.
Counterpart.
Yes,
Journalists State.
it's just about 1 hour, 20 minutes or so away. It reminds me of what he's doing. So this is even healthy competition between the governors of that insurgency-ravaged geopolitical zone. The people have suffered. The best the governors can do is to reach out to people and give them hope. The very vulnerable people.
Balm.
Yes.
Coming to calmness.
Yes, just come meet them at the point of their needs. Look at students, for example. Even students got 10 kg bags of rice. 13,000 students so far. And they have a program that would take them to each of those tertiary institutions where they will be given food basket as well as scholarship stipend. It's really impressive.
Today we can replicate that around the country. It is possible.
It is possible if the governors have the heart and the commissioners, because it's about the empathy.
Yeah.
Because you can imagine in my community, let me give you a simple example. They just brought a 10K bag of rice for about a street, 2 streets of about 100 houses. How are you going to distribute that? So what we did was just to give it to one grain each. You can count the number of grains, and they call that one palliative.
And some are shared to party members.
Party members, yes.
It's
We
wrong.
politicize everything here. It's unfortunate.
They say the style is the man. It is possible.
It's possible
to work these things. It is very, very possible.
We have to help our people.
We must go.